Welcome into Hittin Hard with Jon Chuckery here on Locked On Sports Atlanta. Today on this Game Day Friday on the show, 5 players that I want to see something out of them tonight. My stat hopes for tonight, and the Braves need to get Matt Olson going. It's all next. Hittin Hard with Jon Chuckery, Locked On Sports Atlanta.
This is Hittin Hard with Jon Chuckery, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, and it starts now.
Welcome into this Friday edition of Hittin Hard with Jon Chuckery here on Locked On Sports Atlanta. Head to youtube.com, put Locked On Sports Atlanta into that search browser. When you find us, hit that subscribe button, leave us a comment. We are free and available on all of your favorite podcast platforms, including Spotify and Odyssey. Leave us a 5-star review there if you would, please, and then follow me on my personal Twitter page. That would be at JMCH316. It's game day, first preseason game. Now, look, I know I'm going to overhype, I'm going to overexcite and everything. But I am legitimately excited to see what the Falcons look like now as we move into the post-Matt Ryan era of this football franchise, right? I mean, think about it. Since 2008, this team has never had to worry about the most important position in the NFL, getting a quarterback right. Think about that. This is the first time since 2007 that we haven't seen number 2 running around and leading this offense. So it is a new dawn, and I am legitimately excited. By the way, it's a 6 o'clock kickoff tonight, so remember, it's going to start early tonight. Falcons are up in Detroit for preseason game number 1. And don't worry, come Monday, we'll have complete overreaction. The Falcons are the greatest team ever. The Falcons are the biggest bums in the history of the world, right? We'll completely overreact all of this. So tonight, though, we talked about some of my keys that I'm hoping for yesterday on the show. Here today. So let's start with this. There are 5 players that I'm looking at. I got 5 players that I'm going to zero in on. I want to see something out of them. Not all of them are starters. You know, we know the starters are going to play a quarter or so. You know, Dan Campbell said his starters are going to play a quarter or so. So we're going to see some matchups early in this game that should be interesting. But here's the 5 guys that I'm going to be having my eyes on that I want to see if I can find something out about them. Number 1 is Caleb Mcgarry, who, having been up to training camp, he has had a good camp so far. He has legitimately won, as of now, the right tackle spot. Now, I'll say Jermaine Ifedi sort of is what he is. He's more of a swing tackle in this league, but that's fine. Look, it's not like he's maybe the best of the worst. He's legitimately bulked up, beefed up, gotten himself going, and he's motivated to win this job because he knows he's playing for his next NFL contract. Because I'll say this. Short of a Pro Bowl caliber season, he won't be with the Falcons next year. So I'm very excited and interested to see what Caleb Mcgarry does now. Can he be competent? Can he be a guy that locks you up and really protects that right tackle spot? I don't care how fast your quarterbacks are at running around. Justin Fields showed you last year. If the pass rush comes out to you and tries to maul you, you're not going to be able to run away from it, right? So Caleb Mcgarry is first and foremost on my list. Second is Lorenzo Carter. And I've talked before about the show that I think he's one of the X factors for this defense this year. I want to see, do I feel like I'm getting that player that we saw at the end of last season for the Giants, where he had, 5 sacks in 5 games? Or is it the guy who just kind of couldn't get anything going in the first part of the season for the Giants? So I'm excited to see what Lorenzo Carter, obviously coming back here to the state of Georgia, right? Getting it cranked up, getting it going, making plays. I want to see if I'm getting that guy from the end of last year from the Giants. Now, we'll talk about my remaining 3 guys here in just a minute. But first, let me mention our sponsor today, betonline.net, your number 1 source for all of your betting needs and sports info. Look, hey, I'm just saying, Falcons are a 1-point underdog tonight. 35.5 is the betting line, right? You want to find your odds. You want to get into betting. We're in NFL season now. We are officially in NFL season. BetOnline.net is your best resource for all your sports wagering information, live betting, esports, more. We still got golf. We still got boxing. We are dead smack in the middle of baseball pennant race season, right? So you got all of that available to you. BetOnline.net is the best source for all of your scores, podcast news and information, wagering information, trends, everything out there. Simple, easy to use. You can use it right on your mobile device, right? So head to betonline.net today. Betonline.net is where the game starts. So Mcgarry, Carter, two of my names. So the remaining three guys, Kadri Olson. Now, we're going to talk about the stats here in the next segment, but I've said before, this is make or break for Kadri Olson. Either he's going to show me that he's ready to be a competent running back in the NFL, or he's going to be gone from the Falcons and he'll move on to whatever his next step or phase is or whatever like that. I like Olson. Okay, I know this group didn't draft him. I like him. I think he has some potential. I see little bursts and blasts and blips and bloops when he's in and does some things, but I want to see if he can get some things going tonight. I want to see if he's showing me that he looks a little bit different and then he's hungry and he wants to win this job. Next, Adi Ogundaiji, right? So I think there's a chance he might even start at one of those outside backers, tonight, because let's face it, Arnold Ebikede's camp has been, some questions about, how well he's been and how much he stepped up. But Ogundaiji is a guy from last year's draft class that, look, I thought played well in some of his moments. Now, statistically, if you look at his numbers, there was nothing to get excited or brag about, right? I mean, let's be honest. I mean, he not like he came in and tore it up and sacking the quarterback, things like that. But he's going to get a definite shot, whether that's starting tonight, whether that's being a starter when the season begins. But they're counting on him in year 2 to take that leap forward. I want to see how hungry he is to go win that starting outside linebacker job, because Carter's going to be one of your outside linebackers. Now it's a matter of Ogundaiji and Ebiketie that are going to be trying to find that second spot on the outside linebacker spot. So I want to see what Ogundaiji has going on tonight. And then more general, and I think that I'm going to give you the name who I think it's going to be, but whoever starts at center tonight. Now, I do think Dahlman is who's going to start at center tonight. That's just what my gut tells me. The unofficial depth chart has Hennessy or Dahlman listed as who could be the starting center. So I don't really care. Again, I've said Hennessy and Dahlman is that gif on Twitter of the Spider-Men, the two Spider-Men that just are pointing at one another like you're the same guy, and all that. Because to me, again, I feel like they're the exact same guy. The battle for who's going to start in week 1 at center is going to go all the way through all 3 preseason games and heading into week 1 of the regular season. Those guys are neck and neck. You know why they're neck and neck? Because they're the same guy. They're two undersized centers that are cerebral players. There's a reason why. I mean, they profile the same guy. They don't profile like Nick Mangold, like somebody tried to tell me about Drew Dahlman, okay? They profile like the same guy. They're undersized, potential to get pushed around. That's the scouting report on them, So I expect that battle to go. But whoever starts tonight, this is an opportunity for them to separate themselves from the other guy. And I want to see, because look, we're not quite at the Mike Person, James Stone era of center in NFL Falcon history, right? Where neither of those guys could snap the football to Matt Ryan in shotgun without it bouncing off the turf. Matt Ryan had to get a baseball mitt and act like he was Ozzie Smith out there fielding grounders off the turf when he was in shotgun with those guys. Now, Dahlman last year, when he got a chance to play, kind of looked a little bit like James Stone. Kind of looked a little bit like Mike Person when he was out there. Didn't really impress anybody when he was out there. But again, rookie, all this, that, and the other. I get it. I understand like that. Now he's had a full offseason. Now he's had training camp. Now we're getting into preseason. This is a chance for either one of those guys to really secure that job. So whoever starts at center, because that's the coaching staff saying, hey, look, we have some confidence in you. We feel like you can get this thing done. Whoever starts at center, I want to see who that is and what they look like when they're given this opportunity. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about my stat hopes for tonight as well. Hitting Hard with Jon Chuckery. Back on Hittin' Hard with Jon Chuckery here on Locked On Sports Atlanta. Head to youtube.com, put Locked On Sports Atlanta into the search browser. Hit that subscribe button when you get to that page. Leave us a comment there. Free and available on all of your favorite podcast platforms, including Spotify and Odyssey. Leave us a 5-star review if you would, please. And then, of course, follow me on my personal Twitter page at JMCH316. We continue to look ahead to tonight's game, first game of the preseason for the Atlanta Falcons, the post-Matt Ryan era of Falcons football. So we talked about the 5 guys that I'm looking at to try to show me something tonight. So here are some of my hopes statistically about some things that we will see tonight, okay? Now, first thing is, I'm going to say this. Win. well, it's preseason, Chuckery. They don't matter. It may not matter in the scoreboard, on the standings, and this, that, and the other. This is where it matters. Right up here, right? Cerebral. Be the cerebral assassin, right? I want to see a team that fights, scratches, and wants to win tonight. What have they lost? Like 7 preseason games in a row or something like that? Whatever that number is. I want to see a team that's coming out trying to win a football game. Listen, I don't care if you're playing checkers. I don't care if you're playing, whatever, video games online or whatever like that. I want to win. I want to win at whatever it is that I'm involved in. I'm on radio. I want to win in my spot. Here doing this podcast, we want to win, right? Whatever competition is, I want them to win. It may not matter, obviously, in ESPN.com's standings, may not matter in the power rankings, this and the other. I want it to matter up here, though. And I think Arthur Smith and this team is trying to instill that in these guys. You have to create a culture of winning, right? Now, look, you get to where you're a Super Bowl contender, and then, you don't do well in the preseason. I don't worry so much about that, right? But right now, this franchise is teetering on what direction are we going to go. If they're 2-15 this year, you are the slug of the universe. You are one of the low-life franchises in the league. And that doesn't just turn around in a year or so because, we got all this salary cap. That doesn't fix nothing. You have to fix it up here first. And you're in an era where a guy who is the most important player in the history of the franchise, listen to me, the most important player in the history of this franchise is not here anymore. And it's a new era. You have to go out there and start changing up the culture, finding a way to win. And I think that starts tonight. Find a way to beat the Detroit Lions tonight in the game. All right, from a rushing yardage standpoint, the Falcons last year averaged 85.4 rushing yards per game. That ain't good enough. I want to see a 100-yard performance tonight. Now, I'm going to talk about the yards per carry in just a second, but I want 100 rushing yards tonight. I think that there's going to be a heavy focus tonight on running the football. I think, yes, we have to evaluate quarterbacks. Yes, we have to evaluate pass protection. Yes, we have to evaluate tight ends. Yes, we have to evaluate wide receivers. But we have to figure out running game too. And that's more of the calling card of Arthur Smith. Now, I know everybody's going to say, well, we had Derrick Henry. Yeah, he didn't have just Derrick Henry. He also had Taylor Lewan and Jack Conklin and a whole bunch of Pro Bowlers up front on the offensive line. He also had an outstanding offensive line to pair with Derrick Henry. So, look, do we have all of that? No, we don't have nothing like that. Whatever the 180-degree opposite of Derrick Henry, Jack Conklin, and Taylor Lewan is, that's where we're at right now. But I want to see them establish an identity. So I'm talking about Kadri Olson tonight. I want to see somebody break off a big run or two. I want to see us have some commitment to the run. This has been one of the worst rushing teams in the NFL over the last handful of years. And we don't run the football even effectively. Short yardage goal line situations. Can you pick up 3rd and 2 via the run, right? Can we move the chains in a short yardage running down, right? We don't do all of those things well. We don't get good yards per carry. And that's another stat I want to see tonight. I want to see 4 yards a carry tonight in the running game. This team lives in that 3.5, 3.6, 3.7 yards per carry. That's not effective in the NFL. You need to be 4, somewhere between 4 and 4.5 is what the better franchises in the league are. 4 should be a minimum. If you're not running for 4 yards a carry in the NFL, you're not going to run the football effectively. You're just not. Okay? So 4 yards per attempt. I do tonight want to see at least 1 sack. Now, again, I'm not expecting the Falcons to go out and get 5, 6, 7, 8 sacks and all this kind of stuff. Give me at least a sack. More importantly, show me consistent pressure tonight. That's one of the things I want to see. Now, we'll talk some more about this in just a second, but first, let me talk about our friends, my friend especially, over at Coffee AM, the best small batch coffee roaster in America, right here in the state of Georgia, up in Canton. What a great company this is, man. I love these folks. CoffeeAM.com is the place to go. What are you looking for? I just literally opened up a new bag of their coffee this morning, right? I got to drink multiple. I make a whole pot every morning and drink a whole pot. That's how I'm ready to go, right? But I just opened up a brand new bag of coffee this morning from our folks over at Coffee AM. CoffeeAM.com/lockedon, LOCKEDON /lockedon is the place to go. You want organic? I just finished up the organic coffees. Opening up a batch of their, I think it's Sumatra or whatever, regular roast type coffee. You want K-cups? They got all that there. Right? Whatever it is that you're looking for. Coffee, they got teas, they have gift sets, You need a mug, right? I'm drinking mine out of a styrofoam cup, but that's all right. Listen, I'm a cheap guy. But anyway, coffeeam.com is the place to go. Check out their wide range of products on their menu. Here's what I've got going on for you, okay? Because I love my audience so much. Head over to coffeeam.com/locked on. When you get there, search through their extensive menu of coffees, teas, gift sets. When you put that first order together at coffeeam.com, okay? You get to the checkout. I want you to put the coupon code locked on, LOCKEDON, locked on. Put that coupon code in at checkout, and you will get 15% off that first order of coffees, teas, gift sets, whatever it is that you buy out there. That first order is going to get you 15% off simply by using the coupon code locked on at checkout. Use that today, LOCKEDON. coffeeam.com/locked on is the website. Best small batch coffee roaster in America. So I want to see 100 yards. I want to see 4 yards an attempt. I want at least 1 sack, and I want to win. What else? I want the defense to hold them to only 1 touchdown max tonight. I don't want the other team's offense to get off and get some things going. 1 touchdown max. That should be the rule tonight. You're not allowed to score more. The Detroit Lions are not more than 1 touchdown. And again, look, the Lions are what they are too. They're one of the lower win teams in the league in this, that, and the other. But they do have some players and they do have some playmakers. Just give me at least only 1 touchdown tonight defensively. Okay. You want to give up some field goals and stuff like that? I'm not going to be mad about all that, but only 1 touchdown defensively. I need a turnover tonight. Show me that we can get something going. We can cause a disruption. We can have a havoc play, whatever it is that you want to call out of all of it. Give me a turnover this evening. That's one of the other things I want to see. This team has got to get back to creating and generating turnovers. That was one of the things about the 2016 defense. They were not that great of a defense. They were not ranked very high, but they could create some turnovers and they could sack the quarterback. That you can do those 2 things in the NFL. If you can sack the quarterback in the league, you've got half the defense figured out. If you can generate some turnovers, you have another big chunk of the defense figured out in the NFL. So get me at least 1 turnover tonight. And this is just kind of one of my personal things that I want to see. I love what Felipe Franks has done in camp. I am very impressed by the fact that Franks has found a way to convert from quarterback to tight end. I want to see a catch or 2 out of Felipe Franks tonight, just for my own morbid sense of I like watching this kid. I'm excited. I think he's done great at camp. I give him all the credit in the world, man, to convert. Look, let's be honest. He's doing what Tim Tebow didn't want to do, right? He's converting from quarterback to tight end. I want to see a catch or 2 out of Felipe Franks tonight. All right, when we get back, it's time for Matt Olson to get things cranked up and going. We'll talk about that next. Hittin' Hard with Jon Chuckery. Hittin' Hard with Jon Chuckery and Locked On Sports Atlanta. Head to youtube.com, put Locked On Sports Atlanta into your search browser. Hit that subscribe button when you find our page there. Leave us a comment there as well. Free and available all your favorite podcast platforms. You can download us on Spotify, Odyssey, whatever your favorites are. Hit us up there with a 5-star review, and then follow me on my personal Twitter page at JMCH316. Braves got a series started up in Miami tonight. Mets and Phillies are going to get a series cranked up and going too. All right, Braves are 7 back. Okay, and I know they got 7 left with the Mets and all. With all due respect, with the way the Braves have played against the Mets and the Dodgers and the Padres this year, I don't know how much confidence I have that they're just going to line up and run the Mets over. Okay, and especially with those 2 guys that are on the mound. I think Scherzer pitches tonight for the Mets. So, look, yeah, you're going to have to do some things head-to-head against the Mets, but you also have to take care of your business against all these low-life, dirtbag, flea bag, pond scum, sludge at the bottom of a barrel, muck and mire teams like the Marlins, okay? One of the guys, we keep talking about guys who got to get it going, I'll be honest with you, okay? I've been very underwhelmed at times with Matt Olson, and he's a guy that needs to get it cranked up and going. So far in the month of August, in 41 plate appearances, Olson is hitting 200 with a 317 on base, a 229 slugging, and a 546 OPS. He has no homers in the month, only 3 RBI, but he has managed to strike out 10 times in 41 plate appearances. He's got 1 double, 6 runs scored. Now, I know a lot of y'all gonna, Olson's hitting all these doubles. He's going to chase the doubles record. Who the hell cares? Who the hell cares about the doubles record? I need Matt Olson to be 40 and 120. That's what I signed him. That's what I gave him 9 years for. I didn't give him 9 years to go set the doubles record like he's Pete Rose. I need him to go out there and whack it around, hit homers, drive in runs, and get on base. And there have been times, start of the year, you could make a case that at the very beginning of the year, he was the Braves' best hitter. He's had his moments and his streaks, but I need him to get it going. This is August. We're almost at the middle of August now. There ain't 1,000 games left in the baseball season. Not 1,000 games left. You know, we got too many guys that are just kind of treading water and just kind of, slowed down in the muck and the mire of quicksand and things like that, that got to get some things going. Ronnie, we talked about this the other day. He's getting it cranked up and going. Dansby's back on track. Riley's now, by the way, if you haven't seen, Austin Riley is now the second number 2 betting favorite for the NL MVP right now. Only Goldschmidt has better betting odds right now than Riley at MVP. So, look, I need some of these guys. Ozuna is what it is. Yeah, I'm glad he hit the 3-run home run. Again, we talk about he's a one-trick pony. That's what he does. That's what he does is hit home runs. That's the only thing he can do is if you make a mistake, he'll take you out of the ballpark. But he ain't going to draw walks. He ain't going to steal bases. He ain't going to play left field. And he ain't going to get you a bunch of key hits when you need him. This is what Matt Olson is here for. And it may not be fair to compare him to Freddie Freeman, this, and the other. But go look back statistically. Last year in the month of August, Freddie Freeman hit 311 with a 360 on base and was like a 900 OPS, right? And the Braves coincidentally went 18-8 in the month of August last year. It's not coincidence that Freddie Freeman is one of those straws that stirs the drink for this team last year. So I need Olsen to get it cranked up and going. I need some power. I need his average to come up some. I need to see some drawing walks and getting on base like he was earlier in the year. I need him to get it cranked up and going. It's middle of August. And look, he projects out right now. His projection is, I think it's 26, 27 homers and over 100 RBI. Okay, I'd take that. But, right now he's at 248 on the season with a 337 on base and an 815 OPS. None of that is awful. The 248, it sort of is what it is. But it's time for Olsen to get this thing cranked up and going. Look, they have to start stretching a string of wins together. And this idea of, well, we played the Mets 7 times, so we got to, okay, yeah. How'd that go last time when the Braves played the Mets? And by the way, Max Fried goes on the 7-day concussion IL after that face plant over the weekend. That sucks. Again, retroactive, and I think he was supposed to start tonight, right? Now, Odorizzi's going to start tonight, and Ian Anderson's going to make a start tomorrow, and he's going to head to Gwinnett. What happens if Ian Anderson throws a no-hitter? Is he going up to Gwinnett? Is he taking that Partridge family bus from Hartsfield Airport up to Buford? Anyway, you can hear my frustration on some things like that. It's time to get this thing cranked up and going. It's time to quit screwing around. It's time to quit mucking and miring. It's time to take on and act like we're the World Series champs. This is the World Series. This is the defending World Series champions. And it's not been bad. They're 20 games over 500, right? But right now, if you power rank the Braves, are they better than the Dodgers? Are they better than the Mets? Are they better than the Padres? That's where you have to start thinking about it. Are we better than the Cardinals and the Brewers? Yes. Are we better than the low-life dirtbag Marlins and the Pond Scum Nationals and the Fleabag Pirates? Yeah. We'll kick the crap out of all those teams. But I need some of my guys to get this thing cranked up and going. Got a lot of important games that are coming up here between August and September, and obviously the first week of October too, because that's going to be the final Mets series as well. Matt Olson's another one of those guys. It's been very streaky for Matt Olson this year. At times, he's looked like a complete monster and a beast, right? He looks like he's Freddie's replacement. Other times, it looks like, kind of is what he is. And I get that guys go through streaks and stuff like that, but in a lot of ways, there has been some underwhelmingness about what Matt Olson has done for this team. Been a pretty good run producer. If he's going to drive in over 100, okay, I'll take all that. He's going to be about 25, 27 homers, somewhere probably in that range. Okay, that's not a bad number. I know some people were thinking, some people that I know host morning radio, hey, he's going to be a 50-homer guy. Look at the spray chart. Okay, I never thought that, but I want to see Matt Olson get it cranked up and going. They need his bat. They need his run production to get things cranked up and going. And right now, in 41 plate appearances in August, it's been very underwhelming. Obviously, plenty of time, right? They got plenty of opportunity here. And again, you're going to get through this series against the Marlins, and then we're going to get a 4-game set at Truist Park against the Mets. I want to see him this weekend get cranked up and going. I want to see him start to get his stroke back, because I don't want to hear about he's going to start trying to get hot when DeGrom and Scherzer roll into town. How'd that go last time? Well, those guys have about 25 strikeouts between them. And Olson's, one of the leading candidates for all that. He's got 41 plate appearances. A quarter of those are strikeouts. So I need him to get it going this weekend. I'm really going to be watching what Matt Olson gets going this weekend, okay? Because I need him to start getting his swing back as we head into the Mets series and we start to roll through the dog days of summer and we're in the middle of this pennant race. And I know there's going to be some of you guys say, quit blaming Matt Olson for everything. I'm not blaming Matt Olson for anything. I need certain guys to start stepping up and getting this thing done. Ronnie's getting it cranked up in August. Let's take advantage of that. It's not like Matt Olson's going to come up the plate and nobody's ever on base for him. That's why you got Riley and Dansby and Ronnie. Those guys on. Drive in a bunch of those guys. Let's have a big weekend. Beat the ever-living daylights out of the Miami Marlins this weekend. And then we get ready for what I think, personally, I'm going to go ahead and preface it now, it's going to be the series of the year. This, to me, this 4-game set at Truist Park is going to define what the Braves are going to have this year. Because once you get through this, you got one series in October, and that'll be it. So we'll worry about that Mets series when it comes up. First things first, 4 games in 3 days against the low-life, dirtbag, fleabag Marlins. And by the way, too, again, as I've explained this before, the Braves have a losing record against the Padres, Mets, and Dodgers. Everybody else in baseball. I take that back. The Texas Rangers, they're 1-2 against the Rangers as well. Against every other team in the entirety of baseball, they are 500 or better than. That's the only teams that they're below 500. Rangers, Dodgers, Padres, Mets. That's it. Not the Pirates, not the they're 10-3 against the Nationals. Okay? Not the Marlins, not any of these other fleabag, low-life, dirtbag organizations. So go out and kick the crap out of the Marlins this weekend. Matt Olson, get it cranked up and going. I want to see Matt Olson with 2 or 3 homers this weekend. 4 games, let me have 2 or 3 homers. Drive in about 7 or 8 runs this weekend. And have about 6 hits over the weekend. So that when we come into this series next week against the Mets, I feel like, okay, our lineup is getting going where it needs to be. All right, we thank you so much for making Hittin' Hard with Jon Chuckery your first listen every day. Make my friends over at ATL Day Ones your second listen every day. My friends Jarvis Davis and Tanitra Batiste. Speaking of all things in the heart of the city of Atlanta, you want dogs, Braves, Falcons, Hawks, whatever. Georgia, they got everything covered for you, right? Everything is covered and they take care of it. A lot of pop culture, a lot of fun stuff over there. Great conversation as well. They are free and available on our YouTube page at Locked On Sports Atlanta, and free and available to download on all your favorite podcast platforms, including Spotify and Odyssey. Leave us a 5-star review when you are there. And then also give me a follow on my personal Twitter page. I'm going to have a lot of Falcon content. We're going to be tweeting a lot during the Falcons games. That would be at JMCH316. We will talk to you on Monday. This has been Hittin' Hard with Jon Chuckery, Locked On Sports Atlanta.